Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. Today, I would like to discuss the ways that the coronavirus pandemic has affected the reptile hobby. So we have been asked this by a lot of people. Is your business okay? Are your animals okay? Is there anyone actually with the income to buy pets right now? Like, what are you going to do with all your extra animals that can't sell? All that kind of stuff. Well, it's a mixed bag, right? So there's a few things that have been made very, very difficult by the pandemic, and a few things that, believe it or not, have seemed to make it easier. Sorry, we've got little Ann out, our Dominican red Mountain Boa female, for some exercise. We think that she is pregnant, so we want to make sure she stays getting plenty of exercise, nothing too long or strenuous. Just make sure she stays in peak physical condition. Anyway, so let's go over the negatives first. Obviously, the social distancing measures that are, somewhat different from state to state, but pretty much at some point throughout the last 6-7 months, however long it's been, every single state has seen some sort of restrictions on gatherings and in-person interactions and all that, right? This hasn't affected us very much. It has in a few ways, and I'll get to that, but some places have been devastated by that, right? Anywhere that is a zoo has been really affected by that, as you can imagine. You can't have people come in anymore, right? We have not been able to do birthday parties, events. It really impacted the expos. There are still some expos that are not happening. Some are happening. I have no idea how they're getting away with that, but they're doing it. Some really big ones even. And but we can't up here in Alaska. They shut ours down. So whenever they let us, we'll, get our expo back up and running. But for now, we are expo-less. However, we're still okay because our primary income is through selling reptiles as pets, right? And that did not get shut down. So the pet industry was generally considered a essential industry. So pet stores weren't really shut down in very many places. Limitations on how many people could come in and things like that, of course, and extra precautions at the point of sale and all that. But we run this out of our home, so we're not used to having more than one set of customers at a time because everything's by appointment. And we, at the kind of in the height of summer, we just met with everybody outside. We didn't really have people in here. We've had a few people in recently, but mostly we've just been outside. So selling reptiles has not slowed down. In fact, it's actually sped up. The thing that has impacted us the most is shipping. So as the virus spread around the world and got its fingers into more and more industries, it significantly disrupted the shipping industry, right? And this happened at the same time that everyone was stuck at home. So the demand for shipping went up dramatically, okay? There was a point where Ship Your Reptiles, the secondary shipper that we go through that's contracted with FedEx, they were saying that FedEx was like triple their general shipping volume for Christmas time, which is, I would guess, quadruple what their normal shipping volume is for regular times of the year. So shipping demand just skyrocketed at the same time that their shipping practices and shipping routes and countries and just everything went down. People were losing employees. Small shipping companies were going under. So shipping got severely disrupted. A lot of breeders just stopped shipping for a while. They were like, look, if you can't pick up locally, you can buy the snake. We'll hold it for you as long as we need, but we can't ship right now because the risk of an animal getting stuck or lost or something terrible was just too high. There was no way to get insurance on your packages. It was really rough for a while. FedEx, who the reptile trade works with extensively for domestic shipping, they have mostly caught back up. Ship Your Reptiles has been allowing limited insurance on packages again, so it's getting better. It's still being impacted, but it is much better than it was. But I mean, it was months where people were like, are we ever going to be able to ship again? Like, how does this work? If you live in, California and there's zillions of breeders, it wasn't such a big deal. You could just find someone local. But up here in Alaska, it was really rough for a while. But we made it through that mostly, and it's certainly much improved. So to us, those are the big negatives, right? And for many people around the country doing reptiles, they got really, really badly impacted. People who depend on having a lot of foot traffic come through their store or their zoo or whatever really took a hit, right? But I think that they're doing better now. I hope so anyways. Lots of places are opening back up as they're able to. I know it's hard with it starts to open up and then cases go up, starts to shut down. So cases go down, then they open up again. It's been hard with the inconsistency, but everyone is hopefully coming through this and surviving at least. Probably not thriving like anyone expected to in 2020, but at least surviving, right? So the positives of a bunch of people being stuck at home and a lot of them receiving, stimulus checks and all that. Those who didn't really need the stimulus checks, those who weren't laid off and, really, really just needed it for bills and things. Lots of people were like, hey, I've always wanted this snake and now I'm stuck at home with plenty of time to set up the habitat and everything. And I've got this extra money coming in. Why don't I get a snake? Reptile sales for us specifically, but I've heard this from almost every breeder I've talked to, sales have gone up during the pandemic. Way up, right? Now, this is a phenomena that has held true through many difficult crises in our country, right? And probably elsewhere, but at least here. The reptile industry and really the entire animal world, so not just reptiles, seems to be very, very resilient to economic disruption, okay? When the economy has a problem and the stock market is crashing, or the housing market crashed, or whatever it is, these massive, nationwide, huge-scale economic problems happen, the reptile hobby just keeps chugging right along. People prioritize their animals very nearly as highly as they prioritize their family members. And we can argue about the ethics of that all day, but it holds true. People spend money on their animals. And it's actually been a really eye-opening experience for us to feel like there are some unique challenges to having your income be related to animals, but there's also some benefits. Because of that, people will continue to prioritize their animals' care, husbandry, food, caging, new animals. Just people really, really seem to not just ditch all their animals the second things get tough. I know that those happen, those cases do happen, so we have to be careful not to overgeneralize. But it's been interesting just thinking about the viability of our business long term to know that even during catastrophes like this pandemic, the hobby has stayed very strong and economically viable, right? People adapt, right? So anyways, that's been a really big eye-opener for a lot of people, that even during the pandemic, sales have continued and even grown, right? We sold out of reptiles for the first time ever, maybe a month into the pandemic. We just could not hatch animals fast enough, literally. We would have a waiting list with 40 people on it for a clutch that only had 10 eggs. I mean, it was just really wild. Hold that thought. So overall, we've been blessed. We really have been lucky enough to just continue on with our business. We haven't relied a ton on people coming into our home. I just got peed on. You want to see something real yummy, guys? Oh, and it reeks. Oh. Lovely. Anyway, that's one of the beauties of Dominican red mountain boas. They pee a lot. I would say that between my two, there's at least one new pee spot every day. So they pee a lot. They drink a lot. They swim a lot. They pee a lot. They're into wet stuff. But that's okay. It wasn't musk, so it's not that overwhelming putrid smell that these guys are capable of. It's just pee. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to kind of address everybody who watches our channel, let you all know that our business is going great. We're not hurting, people have been so good to us. They've been like, do you need like donations? Do you need help, volunteers? Honestly, truly, we're doing great. We're very happy. We've done better with production this year than we expected to. We've had a lot more females We've had a lot more females lay eggs for us than we expected. So we're doing fine. We're doing good. I would say anyone who's out there who really, really is concerned and wanting to help, local small businesses in the animal world, since that's kind of our thing, go to rescues, see what they need. Do they need volunteers? Do they have animals that need adopting? Just go ask local rescues, and that would be a great way to help. Be involved with animals still. Do something that you're comfortable with while really still offering help to people who need it. I know that the rescue up here, there's a couple. The one that's closest to us that we know very well, they are okay. They're doing great. They're very professional. They have a lot of volunteers and everything, but excuse me. They have a lot of volunteers and everything, but most of their income is tied up in doing events and birthday parties and shows and presenting to the Boy Scouts and all sorts of stuff like that. And they took a real financial hit when the pandemic hit, and it's still ongoing. So I'm guessing that is the case around the country. So those are the types of places that need help. You have you sold a snake and you have 15 extra frozen mice in your freezer that you're trying to get rid of. Look up a rescue. And it's not just reptiles. Look up bird sanctuaries, local zoos. Anywhere that relies on people coming through the door probably is hurting right now. But we are doing great. We have a couple more super awesome ball python clutches still to go, and I'm really hopeful that this female is pregnant. I'm going to call the vet on Monday and see if I can't get her in for an ultrasound, just for my curiosity's sake. She's not unhealthy. She's totally fine. But I'd really love to know if she's pregnant or not. These, by the way, are late fall birth, generally speaking. The species will have their babies in the late fall. They are live birth, so you don't have to worry about incubating eggs or anything. But we ought to get more sailfin dragons hatched. We have a couple eggs from the blue tree monitor clutch that survived. We lost some of them right at the beginning of incubation, but the others are doing great. They have little, they're like 3.5 months into incubation. So there's little tree monitors that we can see inside when we candle. We'll do a video on that. Really excited about those. Hopefully a litter of boas, and like I said, a couple more ball pythons. So we're doing great. As good as can be expected. It's a bummer that the Expo is on hold. We don't know when we'll be able to schedule it again. But the venue has been working with us. They're totally fine, just letting us jump in as soon as the city says it's safe to jump in. We will do so. But we're doing okay. So anyway, just wanted to show off a cool snake, talk about her hopefully being pregnant, talk about the pandemic a little bit and how it's affected us and affected the whole reptile hobby, at least in the US, and let you all know that we're doing good. We are grateful for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.